Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we celebrate and discuss the film Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Gerry Porter.
And joining us today is Steve Kreuch. Welcome, Steve.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. It's good to see you with my ears.
And me as well.
Steve is a huge fan of this movie, and I've known Steve a long time.
Yeah, I first saw this movie the Saturday after it opened with my dad.
Oh, nice.
The first matinee. It was an empty theater. He wanted to see it because it just, harkened back to the cliffhangers of his youth. And then the movie ended. We were so blown away, and the guy comes up and is like, "Oh, could you guys leave now?" My dad just looked at him and said, "No, we're just going to sit through here and watch it again." And the guy's like, "But you have to leave." And my dad said, "No.
That's not movie theater protocol."
And he was like, "Oh, okay." And we just sat and watched it again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
The old days when you could do that stuff.
Good old Landmark.
Oh, the Landmark. Awesome. I definitely saw this at the Landmark, actually, in Stamford, Connecticut.
Yep, beautiful Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah, a jewel in Connecticut's crown.
On its Nile.
on Connecticut's Nile, the Long Island Sound. Okay, so we're here to talk about minute 1 of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and did I say minute 1? We're here to talk about minute 41 of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Minute 41 begins with Marion trying to shake that monkey off her basket, and it ends with Indy's searching eyes. It's hard when you know somebody who, can't get that monkey off their basket.
At the very, very, very beginning of this minute, Marion has absolutely beautiful eyes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like this emerald, and I thought, were her eyes that beautiful in Animal House?
Probably.
Is this something I don't notice it, not that she's not a lovely person or attractive, but they have a close-up, and you're like, oh my gosh, her eyes are striking.
No, they are. She's striking. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's sort of a girl next door in the Nepali mountains sort of way.
Yeah, you notice her across the counter at the soda shop, and go, "Hey, I'd carry her books."
I was just thinking, just upturn the lid to get rid of the damn monkey.
Yeah, either that, or what if she just stayed in the basket? Could she just stay in the basket and not shake the entire thing and actually make herself and her beautiful eyes visible to the Nazis?
Well, if the Nazis are attracted to the monkey making all this noise, how do they know that she's in the basket? The monkey could just be signaling it's that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Nah, he's kind of plucking at it. I think they know, and they have a thing. The monkey and the Nazis have a thing. I'm not sure what it is, but Pete, maybe you'd know if he's speaking German. 'Cause that sounds all like monkey guttural to me anyway. But
he's speaking monkey standard.
I think they would know, and it would be the Nazis would walk over and they'd slowly lift up the lid, and the monkey would be like, "Yeah,
I guess so."
Yeah,
it would throw another Sig Heil at them.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But I agree. In some, she could just shake it off or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, we can chalk this up to panic, being in a tight situation, not knowing exactly how to act. But I don't know. It could have gone differently.
Seconds before, she was pretty handy with a frying pan.
That's true.
And even before that, you could see her when Indy's fighting the swordsman, all those other swordsman guys. She's pounding some guy with some random metal box.
Right. Very daintily.
It's actually kind of my whole problem with Marion throughout this whole sequence is that she's so tough in Nepal, and she's tough even just a minute or two before. And in this whole sequence, she's helpless. She's she's just screaming for Indy for help to save her, and she's not the resourceful woman that she has been previously through this entire movie.
Could it be that she was undone by her emotions for the monkey? That she had trusted and loved that monkey just hours before, and now,
Yeah, she doesn't want to brain him with a frying pan.
Right.
Brain him.
Although even when she gets taken away in the basket, you'd think that she could just stand up and like get out of the basket, or like topple it over or something. And
I mean, I was thinking about that later when they're carrying her. It's like, just throw your weight to one side and get out.
Yeah.
But and to go to your braining the monkey thing, that's the prequel.
That's well, I mean, does she think that the monkey is saying, like, hey, I love you and I want to come into the basket
Right.
with you?
Any more of those dates?
Yeah, exactly. Or is she like, stop? Does she know, like, stop alerting the slick, coiffed Nazis to my whereabouts?
Right.
Or is she like, no, now's not the time, monkey. I love you too, but
Right. Be a
Or
good monkey.
is the monkey afraid that she had just referred to it as, in a previous scene as being like her child?
Yeah.
And so that she was abandoning it. So it just didn't want to be abandoned.
Right. Let me get in there with you. I want to cuddle.
yeah.
Yeah, it's all possible. It's confusing.
The one thing, the monkey is smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it's a Nazi.
Well, hey, can I ask a much larger, broader question? And we touched on this last week, but why exactly are they specifically after Marion?
Go ahead, Pete.
Well, I was thinking, as far as they know, she still has the medallion, right?
I guess so. Or she... Yeah, or if they
she
can't
has
get Indy,
information from her
she's the next best thing, maybe.
She's the closest link to Abner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I struggled with that
describe it.
the whole time, and I was like, I don't want to answer this question because it's going to sound like I'm really stupid and don't care about the movie, and I miss an enormous plot point. But
You're
I was
still
like,
thinking with your 10-year-old brain.
Exactly. But I never want to leave.
No. You haven't so far. You're
No.
doing all right.
The monkey's smart. I like that.
He's soft.
It wears nice clothes, too. That's the sign of a
sorta.
smart monkey. It's like the
mostly.
Garanimals for monkeys.
But you only need one tag because he's only wearing like a vest, isn't he? Like he didn't
True.
bother with the matching pants part.
He just
that
he needs to match monkey with monkey.
Yeah.
But monkey's actually she, right? Did they say she earlier?
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I
might
think so.
be right. Yeah. She's a smart little thing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
She's like the mirror image of Marion and prefiguring the mirror image of Indy coming up.
Oh, that's deep.
Well, so they don't know that Taut has the headpiece on his hand.
Well, that's what I keep coming back to.
That's what. Yeah. So they're like, okay, Marion has it, and we weren't able to get it, so she's still wearing it. Or let's chase her around, follow him, see what happens, see if it surfaces, see if she brought it with her, or whatever.
Oh, you think the Nazis don't know that Toad has it on his hand? Like he's still flying over from Nepal and he hasn't told them yet? He didn't.
I mean, that scene
Telex.
hasn't shown. Yeah, it hasn't shown. He didn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe he called him and said, "Hey."
Yeah. I'm horribly disfigured for the Reich. It's okay. I got us covered.
I mean, it's kind of confusing that they want to kill Indy, but they want to kidnap her. I mean, maybe Belloc's just taking a shine to her.
Maybe is it even better though? I was thinking of that too. But
No, that's true.
I don't think he's taken a shine to her yet.
I mean, it's possible that these bad guys are sort of working on the fly too, and they're like, "Hey, there's Indy and his girlfriend. Let's get them." It's basically the "let's get them" scenario, and they're just getting them.
Well, at the very least, the Nazis are not going to put up with meddlers,
No.
Right? Yeah.
and that's what we have. We have a case of meddlers.
I think history has shown that Nazis are not too fond of meddlers.
No, they don't play well with others.
No.
That was on the report card. I never noticed until I noticed it, but I never put together until watching it for this minute that that hay cart that Indy stands up on when he's running around looking for her, that's the cart that she was in before, and that's why he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, she's not in here, Marion."
Oh my God, that's dumber than my question.
Yeah.
That was dumber than my question. That's like a 5-year-old brain.
No, I just always thought that, I mean, like, it's like, a big cluttered streets of Cairo scene. I just thought that was like a thing, and he was standing on it to look around for.
That's
know, but it was-
exactly what I thought.
See?
Forever.
It's a
I never
Connecticut-
put the two together.
Oh, wow.
It's an East Coast thing.
I looked at that cart completely differently after last week, though, because Scott Roseanne last week made the interesting comment that hay would be such a valuable commodity.
Oh, right. Yeah,
And
all
it's
those.
just like a wagon full of hay just sitting there, and everyone's ignoring it.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, there's one of the guys like even sticks his hand in it as Indy is climbing up on it.
What's he looking for?
Yeah.
He said there's a lady in here? Let me have a look.
That entire scene or few seconds where he goes and he jumps on the cart and looks for Marion made me so insanely anxious.
That's about the 12th time you've said this.
But he's like Indy comes up with a great plan.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm going to put Marion and under pressure, totally.
Yeah.
Under scimitar fire, he puts her in the back of a cart. And he pulls out the bullwhip and he cracks it and he defends everybody and the cart takes off. And so she makes her escape and you're like, this is great. This is a great plan. And I pulled this off like totally on the fly. Classic Indiana Jones.
Finally making up for ditching her years ago.
Yeah,
Right.
finally. And then he goes and you get the impression that the cart has gone maybe 100 feet.
Yeah.
And he jumps up. He's like, I got this whole thing under control. She's right in the cart, and then we can make our escape. And he looks down, and you're like, literally, I just put this thing here.
I did that with my phone just before recording, by the way. It was like sitting next to me, and I was looking for it for about a minute. So I know how Indy feels.
Yeah, it's just that. And you're like, that's the way life is. That's the way a lot of mornings are. You're just like, I just put this thing here.
Morning in Cairo.
There's no explanation as to why it's not here right now.
Yeah. He's got a lot of nerve being annoyed with her for not being where she said she was going to be. Indiana Jones.
Women, am I right?
Come on. You break their heart once and they don't just stay exactly where you tell them to. Sheesh.
Eesh.
But this is immediately followed by maybe, I can't say it's the most famous part of the movie, but it's one of the most famous parts of the movie by far. It's a classic bit. And Indy versus the sword fighting guy. And that's his name in the screenplay, sword fighting guy. I made that up. And of course, the famous story is that this was a whole choreographed whip versus scimitar fight that went on with fruit carts and mayhem and everything. And Harrison Ford had the trots that day and said, can we just, I could just shoot him, right? I don't feel good. Which is cool, but if you look in like making of stuff, it seems like they filmed a ton of the actual fight, the sword versus bullwhip fight. Because you can see like stills of that and like them blocking it out and stuff like that. So they kind of got into it, and I wonder just how sick Harrison Ford got before he finally said, guys, this isn't going to work.
Wasn't it dysentery? I mean, he was...
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I think everybody, apparently everybody on the set had dysentery except for Steven Spielberg, who refused to open anything he didn't open with his own hands from a can.
He just ate SpaghettiOs
Yeah,
the entire film shoot.
That's how you do it, I guess. Speaking of
That's how,
10-year-olds.
that's how you keep the budget down, too.
Yeah, really. Wouldn't they
Well,
give you your own kind of trots, though? Like,
Yeah.
maybe not dysentery, but just sort of like
Little circular
SpaghettiOs.
ones.
Oh,
Well, it plays in well on the scene, but if you look at Indy, he right when he, in this scene, he looks really clammy and trotty.
he does.
Like
He
just
does.
it's not even Indiana Jones. You're like Harrison Ford looks clammy and trotty.
Yeah, it's not running around spastic kind of clammy. It's like, please. Oh my gosh, I just want to stand here alone for a minute. Please.
My
If I
favorite
move.
thing about this scene is that, like, everyone in the whole area is glued to what's going on between Indy and this swordsman.
Yeah.
Except for one butcher in the background.
Yeah,
Just
chopping
chopping meat. Like, Ahmad's got to pay the bills. Ahmad's got to pay the bills. Got to chop this meat.
Oh, you know what's interesting? I think that I think that he was going to be in a bit in like the in the sword fight, in the actual like sword and whip fight, because I think there was going to be something where like the sword guy like is going after Indy and misses and like chops the guy's meat for him or something, like some kind of goofy Spielbergian slapstick like that or something. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's like a setup for that or something.
Oh.
We have a good Star Wars connection here too.
Oh,
The guy who played the swordsman, Terry Richards, played a Wampa in Empire Strikes Back.
a Wampa? Which one?
Well, I don't know. It might have been one of the cut Wampas.
Oh yeah, that's true. The
Side
Phantom
plot.
Wampas.
But apparently Terry Richards, the guy that played him, was pretty mad about this scene too, because he had worked for months on the fight, and then when it got cut at the end, he wasn't happy.
That would be infuriating. I gotta hand it to him.
But he's got to realize he's probably more famous for it
Yeah.
not working out.
That's true.
I mean, I had his action figure. The only
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
The first like Raiders of the Lost Ark action figure I bought was him.
Now that makes it sound like you had a bunch of Raiders of the Lost Ark action figures. Did you? Did you have a lot of the toys?
No, I just had him.
That's awesome. Because yeah, we were saying before that like, you know, this is right in the midst of like Star Wars and Empire and stuff, and like right before Jedi, and like we were crazy for the Star Wars toys. We were crazy about the Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it was like, I don't know. Do I need an Indiana Jones action figure? I don't know.
They were a different size. They were slightly larger than the Star Wars action figures,
You're
so they
right.
were a little more unwieldy, and they were harder to play with. And so that's why I didn't really like. I bought him, and then I was like, you know what? I don't really like the rest of them.
This isn't working out. He's towering over C-3PO, and it's weird.
Right? He was like, he was like the 6+ of action figures. It's just too
Was he
big
more
for my tiny
articulated?
hands.
Like, did he
No,
move around?
he didn't. But I think he may have come with 2 swords.
Oh,
Yeah.
to make up for his scene being cut. That's part of Terry Richards' deal.
Also, the Spectres seem pretty happy that Indy kills him.
Yeah.
I noticed that too, and I was like, so that's the town bully scimitar guy. Like, oh, the guy down at the bar he's here. Let's go to the other bar.
That's interesting. Like, do you think he was? Because he looks totally different from the other, bad guy. They're actually called bad Arabs in the screenplay, by the way, just so you can differentiate.
He's
But
like
is he
the
with the
only-
bad Arabs, or is he just like almost like guy number 5 from the Ravenwood bar? Is he just like somebody who came
Yeah,
in
he's
from the
just standing
cold
there.
for a roughhouse?
Oh, this looks fun.
Well, he's fully, he's fully festooned in all black with like a red sash, right?
Yeah, which just
And
absorbs the
no
heat,
one
by the
else
way.
is close to that. I mean, everybody
Actually, not
even-
true. There are
Well,
a
who's-
bunch of old ladies wearing full black.
He's dressed like a girl.
They just don't have the red sash. So I was looking at that. I'm like, wait, the only other people dressed in black besides him are these like the old ladies.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Ah.
So maybe it's because he's impersonates them and they're all insulted by it.
Maybe
Who
that's
wore
why
it
they're
better?
so happy when he's felled.
Yeah. There goes that sword swinging old lady.
Yeah, I can get my dress back. Patch up those bullet holes, I'll be fine.
He's got a great laugh.
He does.
He's like,
Yeah, that is pretty great. No, you're doing it wrong, Jerry.
he's like a video game boss. He's like
Oh my God, he's totally a video game boss.
like the way he just he's standing there, the crowd parts, and there he is, and he does the.
He just does that same exact thing over and over again as you're fighting him.
Yeah, like everyone who gets to that part of the city has to face him.
Oh my God. But yeah, you mentioned the people in the background and stuff. I find that these scenes, these minutes in particular, have a lot of like, and what do you expect really? But they have a lot of bad. The extras are all terrible actors, so I can never tell if they're upset or really excited that there's like a fight going on in the streets, or if they're like mad that their baskets are getting knocked over. Like whatever. Like, if it's outrage or just sort of fun that they're expressing. They're just kind of yelling.
Well, and also like after he shoots him and, Indy sees the basket and he goes to run off after Marion, he has to force his way through these guys. They have just seen him murder someone.
Yeah. Why
And
aren't they
they
heading
are
for the hills?
standing, impeding his progress.
Right.
They know he will murder them in cold blood.
They're all counting how many bullets he's shot already, which is one, I think. I think it's one. They can all count to one.
Well, it's that strange mixture of like sort of cartoonish fracas and everybody running around.
Yeah.
And then again, towards the beginning of the fight sequence, remember that one guy gets skewered, and it's like a little bit of a reality rain cloud on the all the fun we're having, and it is a little confusing because you're like, of course that guy just gets murdered, and they're happy and they're running around like yay, and then but then they're upset later on, and you don't really know how they feel about
right
these interlopers.
But it's a huge laugh in the movie for the audience. I mean, everybody goes berserk at this point in the theater.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I mean, deservedly so. It's kind of brilliant.
And I never noticed that right after this, like, none of the people are scared of Indy, but he runs into an alley and scares a cat.
Yes. It's hilarious. I just noticed that for the first time. It's also, when Indy's running through the alleys, I swear to God, he drops an F-bomb.
Really?
Yeah, at about minute 39 in this, right when he's like, or second 39, right when he's running down and he like misses the turn and he grabs the wall. Right before that, he says something which I could swear is the F-bomb.
Wow. That's awesome. It's not Forrestal? That F-bomb? You're talking about a different one?
No, and then he runs down and sees the cat.
Well,
I think you're right.
Go ahead, Pete.
I just watched it. I think you're right about the F-bomb.
Well, you can see him say it or you hear it?
You hear it.
You hear
Oh my
it.
gosh. That's hysterical. I got to go back and listen to that. It's going to go to PG-13.
Well, I wanted the
It didn't
cat.
exist.
Right. Psych.
The cat looks fully like he's totally chilling and nothing has bothered him. And I wondered how they actually did that. Like, was he planted there because they know he's generally lazy and they had to set up the shot? And they're like, no, with all the commotion, he's going to stay there. It's not going to be a problem. And like, if you run around really fast, then he's going to freak out. Mm-hmm. Or was it just serendipitous? It was just like, hey, let's just leave that in. That was weird.
I think it's probably like when I was in Greece and there are just cats everywhere. So they just couldn't even. The cat wrangler was like, I give up. But I also feel like this alleyway sequence is kind of like one of those old sequences where, like, people run in the door in one side of the hallway and come out the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Because it completely breaks the laws of space and time.
Right, because he's like right behind him running down the alleyway, and then he like turns, and they're running down somewhere much farther away.
They're behind him, yeah.
Cairo is an Escher painting, actually.
Yeah, I guess it reminded me of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
There's just a big long hallway of doors and they keep coming out of different ones. That's hysterical. Yeah, I was trying to pay attention to this in the next minute to see, like, okay, did they fully cheat about where Marion is in this game of shells? Or is it kind of, I mean, in the next minute, there's an obvious place where they can totally get lost. But then I think you kind of know where she is again before. Well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I have a theory about that.
Okay. Well, let's save that for tomorrow. Can you come back tomorrow, Steve?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
I do have one more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
In a movie with amazing shots, like camera shots, this minute ends with one of the best shots in the movie, I think.
It's actually a great spot for the minute to end too. Yeah, it's like when back in Peru when we were we froze an exact mid idle sandbag switch. Yeah,
well,
being able to stop on that.
He was running as fast as he could, and the camera had to focus constantly, and he stopped directly in front of the camera for it to focus on his eyes. And it's an amazing shot. And then it just ends just looking right into his eyes.
Yeah,
it is brutal heat, so of course he's going to be super sweaty. But I never noticed you can also, in our freeze frame, he has like a big scratch on his nose.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's what the trots will do.
That's from the scene they cut out with the cat. There's a cat bullwhip fight that they had to cut out too. Well, all right, let's hold it there because we're getting into the next part of this awesome chase.
All right.
And we'll come back here tomorrow. But first, Pete, where can all the cat lovers in the audience write to us and tell us how excellent actors cats are?
Well, if you haven't already, come check out our Facebook page and check out our website, indianajonesminute.com. We have some stuff in the library there. We have some interesting stuff about the city where this was filmed, and people have gone back recently and recreated a lot of these scenes because the city in Tunisia looks almost exactly the same. So come and check it out.
That's awesome. And yeah, do that. And then please come back here tomorrow. Same Indy time, same Indy channel for minute 42 of Raiders of the Lost Ark here on the Indiana Jones Minute.